Ohio State's quarterback battle continues to be an actual competition. I think that whether or not you believe the truth in that, this is definitely a talented duo in Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz that's going to be fun to watch. Kienholz has allegedly been pushing Sayin for that spot. We're going to dive into whether or not we think that's true and also what it means for this offense. Now, Julian Sayin was expected to be the for sure starter, but we knew there was going to be competition. And when you recruit at Ohio State, it makes sense that there are multiple guys that could win the job, right? You don't just expect Ohio State to recruit one guy and then just coast until he's done with college. You have guys that are going to compete. And Lincoln Kienholz, I think for the most part, was considered not an option. He was definitely counted out. And now we see that he is the talented player that Ohio State knew he was. Obviously, his coaching staff wouldn't have brought him to Columbus if they didn't think he had the talent. Lincoln Kienholz has the ability to add an element to this offense that Julian Sayin doesn't. Now, I do think that Julian Sayin is still going to be the starter. I do think that he's the more talented passer, but Kienholz does deserve to be part of this offense. He brings a different element that Sayin can't with his legs, and I think that he's going to be a fun player to watch, whether they put him in the red zone, put in certain packages for him. But Julian Sayin should still be the starter. And we live in a day and age now where when you hear something's a competition, people are either one or two categories. They either assume that that is 100% truth, or you have a ton of skepticism in thinking like this is just a move by the coaching staff to motivate QB1. And while we don't get to actually know what the actual answer is, we'll find out soon enough. We will find out if Lincoln Kienholz was truly pushing Julian Sayin or not. But right now, there is some validity to it, right? We're still early enough in camp where this could be a true statement, and Kienholz could be pushing Julian Sayin, but it also could just be Ryan Day putting something out there to say, hey, Julian, you can get replaced if we need to. We need you to take things to another level. There's various different things that coaches use, but in this case, I think they're trying to get the best out of Julian Sayin and not letting him be satisfied, because this offense needs the quarterback position to be really good. They need this quarterback position to be a consistent player. Will Howard gave them that last year, and you knew there was going to be a transition. But they need Julian Sayin to be able to get the ball down the field. You have too much talent at the wide receiver position to not be successful. Jeremiah Smith, everybody knows about him. The best player in college football, an absolute freak show. You're going to have an easy life throwing to him downfield, but you have to still be consistent. You can't rely on Jeremiah Smith to make plays. He's going to do that. But if you want to look at the bigger picture, long term, it's going to be better if your quarterback is distributing the football accurately and on time. You can't rely just on number 4 to make everything work for you. You need your quarterback to do that. Teams aren't going to respect this offense if they know that Julian Sayin or Lincoln Kienholz are just relying on the athleticism of Jeremiah Smith. You know, Carnell Tate and Brandon Innes are back too, but they don't have quite the talent of Jeremiah Smith. They're still extremely talented, but in the end, if you want to go back to back, you need to be able to have multiple players step up at wide receiver. And part of that is determined by where the quarterback puts the football. And sometimes you can have all the talent in the world, but if your quarterback doesn't give you a good ball, it doesn't matter. So there is some truth to it. I think that in any camp, if you've been in a fall camp, or if you're at any level, it doesn't have to be college football, even in high school, the coaching staffs that are good and know what they're doing, they are going to put people in tough situations. They are going to make them uncomfortable because it's the area that they can control. Julian Sayin is going to be put in tough situations, and that's what Ryan Day and his staff have to do. You have to put your guys in situations that they're not ready for so you can see how they respond. And also, I think the good teams make practices more difficult than the games so that when you do get to the games, it's going to seem like things are moving a little bit slower. You're able to read the field a little bit better, and you have the ability to make plays consistently. Julian Sayin has the ability to make these types of plays. We know that he has the talent, the skill set to be a really good quarterback to hit his guys downfield. He has a number of talented players that are going to make his life easier. Smith, Tate, and Innes are just three of those guys. Bringing in a Max Clare is another option. You kind of give this offense a tight end position that you haven't had in the past, or at least not in a few years. You haven't seen the tight end position be a feature in this offense in terms of the passing attack. And you just didn't have the talent for them to do that. Max Clare brings a whole different level, a whole different skill set that you haven't had in a couple of years. So that's another exciting thing. And when everything adds up, you clearly see that it's the quarterback position that needs to do its part. And if Julian Sayin truly is that guy, if it's Lincoln Kienholz, either way, both of them have to be able to make plays. Because when you look at it, if Julian Sayin's in, they obviously know that his arm talent is going to be what gets them down the field. Even though Lincoln Kienholz is a better runner and maybe a less talented passer, they are still going to expect him to make accurate throws. They are still going to expect him to make plays because they don't want to rely on the wide receivers to do everything. They want to be able to have a second option that gives defenses something to prepare for. Because if he can throw the ball well, they're not just going to see, okay, backup QB's in, we are going to strictly focus on the run, and we're going to make sure that we play decent enough coverage on the back end because we know this guy can't throw. If he gives you that element of surprise or element of throwing, then you feel like you're in a better position, even if Julian Sayin is not on the field. So I do think that there is something to this. I do think that there is something to the challenge. It's just long term, I do believe that it's going to be Julian Sayin. And the offense needs him, but the team also needs him to play at a high level. This is a defense that is going through a bit of a transition up front. Now, if Edric Houston is truly healthy, the defensive line, while it does have stuff to prove, should be just fine. And even if he is not a full go by the first game, they should still be okay. They do have pretty good depth. It's just you have unproven depth up front. So the defense might need a little bit of time before they're truly up to the speed that they need to get to. They do have a ton of talent, though. You look at some of the guys they return. You bring back Sonny Styles. Davison and Bigginson is back. You also have Caleb Downs. Jermaine Matthews is a guy who a lot of people are excited about. This defense is not lacking talent. This defense is not lacking options, but it does take time for some of these new guys to get up to speed. And the offense might also need a little bit of time to sort things out. The problem is that you have Texas coming right away. So you're going to have to find a way to compete right off the bat. And your quarterback position is going to play a huge role in that, not just from the position itself, but the effect that they have on the entire offense. So I think it's really exciting to have competition. I do believe that Lincoln Kienholz is challenging Julian Sayin in a way, but overall it feels like this is maybe more of a motivation tactic for Julian Sayin. We'll find out. We're not going to really know until the Texas game, and we're going to see what happens there. But this is a team that has high expectations, and when you play quarterback at Ohio State, those expectations are ones that you have to meet. If you don't, somebody is going to take your place. So having competition in fall camp is good. Whether or not the truth of the statement that Kienholz could challenge him and actually beat him is true or not, that remains the question. But the one thing you have to kind of look past, just take a step further, is that you want competition. You want Lincoln Kienholz to challenge Julian Sayin, and it's going to make this team better as a whole. And if they want to get back to winning another national championship, the quarterback position is going to have to play at a level where you know this offense is still in good hands.